Hello everyone and welcome back to another video of Social Science Mantra. And our today's topic is making a global world, which is a chapter related to the history part of class 10th. Here we are going to discuss that how this world become global, what is the history behind that how this world is witnessing globalization today. In present era, the global world, this globalization, earlier it was restricted to one country only. India can trade only with one nation or two nations. But today the approach that we are having, that is global approach, that we are connected to all the parts of the world, all the nations of the world. Okay. So what was the history behind that? As a part of history, we are going to discuss that how this word globalization was introduced and how this approach was adopted by all the nations of the world. So let's discuss this. Globalization. So before going into detail, first of all I want to tell you that what is the meaning of globalization. So globalization is a process of interconnectedness. Globalization is a process of interconnectedness of nations. Means that all the nations, how they are interconnected with each other, that process with the advanced technology, by the means of advanced technology, movement of capital. Okay, here we need to understand what is the movement of capital. That one nation is investing their money to another nation today as a part of FDI, foreign direct investment. FDI, foreign direct investment. So what is this foreign direct investment? A direct investment made by one nation to different nations, or whichever the nation which of choice, and whichever the nation they are investing their money, that is a foreign direct investment to open new enterprises, new setup, new startups, all this. So movement of capital, movement of trade, migration, the movement of labor. That labor is also migrating from one country to another country in search of job, in search of better opportunities, and economic relation. So overall, this is a process of interconnectedness of all the nations which are interconnecting themselves with advanced technology, with the movement of capital, trade, migration, and maintaining economic relation. That is the meaning of globalization, and this is global approach in true sense. Okay, so now the question arises that how these societies interlinked. What were the factors behind this which connected all the society, all the nations with each other? So what were the factors responsible for that? How human societies have interlinked? That is a very important question. How these human societies have interlinked? So here we need to understand the traders, travelers, pilgrims, priests, all these people, the different group of people, different group of individuals that traveled from one part to the another part of world. And all these travelings, in these traveling, what they got? They not only share trade items, they not only share the products, commodities, but they share culture, but they share knowledge, values. What they attain? Knowledge they attain, opportunities they got. If the traveler, the merchant will go from one nation to another nation, there will be lot of opportunity, vast scope they will find. Spiritual fulfillment. Spiritual fulfillment, the purpose, the real purpose of the priests, real purpose of the pilgrims, they want to attain spiritual fulfillment. That is why they are traveling to the vast distances. As well, to escape persecutions. Persecution means to escape ill treatment. Wherever they are facing ill treatment, they want to escape from it, and that is why they make lot of traveling. And as a result of all this, the one country connected to the another country's culture, another country's values, another country's knowledge. So in this way, this interlinking become possible, and this interlinking gave birth to one term, that is globalization. Coastal trade become possible. So we can say this coastal trade also become possible because of this global approach. Today we can witness the Indus Valley civilization, which was the ancient civilization in our country. Indus Valley civilization, and this connected to present Western approach. approach, the Indus Valley civilization, which was the ancient one, and through this coastal trade, through the Indian Ocean, through the Suez Canal, through this all three sides, India is covered from water. Okay, so through these ocean route, there is sea routes. These Indus Valley civilization, the ancient culture of our country, which connected to the Great Western approach, the Western countries and all. This is again a part and again a factor which was responsible to interlinking the human societies as well. Codies and Seychelles. Then whenever the travelers, merchant will come to our countries or whichever country they will go, they need a form of currency for exchanging goods. So Codies and Seychelles in ancient time it was used as a form of currencies, and because of that Maldives that connected to China, to the Western Asia and to the western part of the world. Okay, so this way the human societies become interlinked and they gave birth to the globalization and this global approach and the formation of this global world. Okay, so let's move on to the next topic, that is Silk Route. So Silk Route is what? Silk Route means a route that connects and that links Asia with the North Africa, Asia with the European part. So how this Asian part connected to the European part as well as to the North Africa, the route which was used by the Chinese silk cargoes as well the ancient travelers and merchants, that route is termed as Silk Route. Very important. Okay. So Silk Route, why this route get its name as Silk Route? Because the trade and importantly it was used by the Chinese silk cargoes, those who travel from this route, and meanwhile and during their journey the silk spread over the route, and that is why it got its name is Silk Route. Okay, that is why it is important for westbound Chinese silk cargoes, those who used to travel to western side through this route. The trade item which was exchanged and which were traveled through this route, including Chinese pottery, Indian spices, not only spices, we can say textiles was also used to travel through this route. Okay, Chinese pottery, Indian spices, textiles, metals, all flowed from one part to the another part of the world through this route. So this route is the Silk Route. This route is termed as Silk Route and it is very important for examination point of view. So we need to include all these 3 points, the first, second and this one. Okay, what would the trade item? It will be 3 mark question. So now the next one is, which is linking to this question only, this now only, trade and cultural exchange always went hand in hand. It means trade and culture exchange both went hand in hand. How it is possible? That as we know, whenever the traders, travelers, merchants, pilgrims, priests, they travel from one part to another part, whichever the route they use, they not only exchange goods, but they exchange culture and values. Already we discussed how Buddhism, today we are talking about Buddhism, is Indian origin. It originated in India, in Lumbini one, Gautam Buddha. Okay, but today it is worshipped throughout the world. It has become a greater religion and it is worshipped throughout the world. How this spread to different parts of the world? What was the stream? This was the stream. The trade and culture exchange always went hand in hand. Okay, that culture exchange and trade always went hand in hand. Okay, so this way they not only exchange the goods, commodities, but they exchange culture, values, knowledge and spiritual ideas. Even the spiritual books, Ramayana, Mahabharata, Upanishad, whatever have been written in that books, it spread to the different part, in their teachings, in the preachers, Muslim preachers, missionaries, Christian missionaries, all they include all these learnings and sayings which are written in their books to the world. They make aware the world with their knowledge. So this only possible with these roots, or we can say with the global mind and global approach. Okay, so this is the again important question for 3 marks. The next one is, food offers many examples of long distance cultural exchange. It is all connected to the globalization. They not only the trade, not only the culture, not only the values, but the food. Nobody can say that food is also the part of globalization. Yes, it is. Today we used to eat, the children used to eat noodles, and all the people of present generation, they are consuming noodles. So what was the history behind it? How this food item introduced to our country? Introduced to different countries of the world. Noodles actually is the Chinese origin. Okay? And from China, it was introduced to different parts of the world, again as a part of globalization. Again as a part of those travelings. Okay? Made by the travelers. Pasta, another food item. This was also an Arab origin, and we know that Arabian traders, those who used to make journeys to the different parts of the world, they introduced this food item. Wherever they go, they introduce this food item, and today it is consumed all over the world. Even the potatoes, one kind of vegetable that we are consuming, soya, groundnut, maize, tomatoes, chilies, all these, they are not Indian origin, they are not any countries. That one of the Chinese and all, they came from America. So after the discovery of America by Christopher Columbus, then only the world come to know about these crops. Okay, before the discovery of America, it was not possible. So once it was discovered by Christopher Columbus, one more question. Christopher Columbus, the world come to know about these kind of crops also. So what happened if we are ignorant, if we are having lack of choices, okay, if we are having a less variety, what can happen? The thing is corrected here. The Ireland's potato famine in mid-1840s is a great example that what can happen with the lacking of food varieties. That is why this food also become a greater, and it offers many examples of long distance cultural exchange. That through food also the cultural exchange was made between the countries, noodles, pasta, these crops, as well as, okay, I was giving the example of Ireland's potato famine, that what can happen when we are having lack of choices in food items. Ireland was a country which was totally dependent on potatoes. Okay, so mid 1840s there was a great potato crop damage, and due to this great famine, the potato crop damage, and thousands of people, hundreds of thousands of people died due to starvation. Okay, those who survived, they migrated to different countries, and thousands of people died. So you can imagine. So you can imagine that they were not having any other choice of food item. That is why they died with the starvation, because they were totally dependent on potato crop. So here we can understand what can happen when we are having lack of choices. So all these points you can include that how food offers examples of long distance traveling and long distance of cultural action. So today students, we have covered very important topics of this chapter. It was the starting of the chapter. The rest of the topics we will continue in next class. Thank you.